Don't know what to eat when you're following a low-carb vegan diet, or you don't know how to meal prep and you don't know where to start? Don't worry, boo. I got you. Just keep on watching. What's going on, guys? I'm Nicole, the creator of More Salt Please, and I share low-carb plant-based recipes, kitchen and meal prep hacks, and mukbangs every single week. And I also love creating a space online for both vegans and non-vegans to coexist, and I promote a judgment-free community. But before we get into the meal prep and this video, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Scroll down right now and hit the thumbs up, because that lets YouTube know that my video should be recommended to more people and more people will see it. And also, if you haven't, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. The full recipes and exact measurements for all the food that I'm about to show you that I prepped will be in my new ebook called Prep Like a Chef. You can find all of the measurements in there. I'm just gonna be taking you through the procedure of each recipe and how to make it. And this ebook is chock full of all of my best meal prep tips and hacks, and over 30 recipes, plant-based recipes that are perfect for meal prep. And in case you guys didn't know, I used to be a personal chef, so these are all of the tips that I have gathered while being a personal chef and prepping for clients every week. So if any of that interests you, make sure that you scroll down to the description box and check it out. I'll leave the link to it down below. And without any further ado, let's get into the meal prep. So on this day, I went grocery shopping for all the food that I was gonna prep. And what I love to do when I grocery shop and as soon as I come home is I take my lettuce that I buy whole heads of lettuce, because I just find that they taste better and they last longer in the fridge than the ready to go carton, like plastic bins of lettuce that usually just kind of sit in your fridge and get all soggy and disgusting. So what I do is I will cut up my heads of lettuce and I will take a large bowl and fill it up with cold water. And once my lettuce is cut up, I'll put it in the bowl of water and let it sit for a few minutes. And that way all of the dirt and the grit and the grime can sink to the bottom. And then once the few minutes is up, your lettuce is clean, you can lift it up and put it in a salad spinner. Make sure that you don't dump the bowl of water into the salad spinner, because then the dirt will just end up back on the lettuce and it will just defeat the purpose of even cleaning it. So don't do that. Lift it up, put it in your salad spinner, and then spin it, get it really nice and dry. And you can store it in a large Ziploc bag. Don't worry, I reuse my Ziploc bags. I'm a Ziploc enthusiast. I just love them. They come in handy for so many different things, and I use them to the bone until they are like ragged and gross and disgusting. So anyway, you can store them in a Ziploc bag or a really large Tupperware container. And the key to keeping your lettuce fresh and lasting a long time in your fridge is putting a paper towel or a kitchen towel in the container that you're storing it in, because the key is that you want to keep it dry. When lettuce goes bad, it's because it's too moist and it gets that gross, slimy essence about it. It's not great. So once my lettuce was all cut up and ready to go, I just loved getting that out of the way straight out of the gate. I started making my chia seed pudding, which is really good, easy, and low carb, high fat. It's great. So what you do is you take a large bowl, you add in your chia seeds, and then you're going to add in cinnamon, vanilla extract, and canned coconut milk. And then you can whisk that together really, really well. I like mixing it in a large bowl first before I divide it up into containers, because you really need to mix chia seed pudding well, or else it'll get clumpy and all the chia seeds will like clump together and it'll just be a hot mess. So a big bowl is great for this because you can really get in there and mix it well. So once it's mixed together, you can either keep it in the same bowl or container that you made it in if you want, or you can divide it into mason jars. I like dividing it into mason jars because chia seed pudding is one of those things that's a really grab and go breakfast or snack. So what I'll do is before I go to the gym, I'll grab one from the fridge and I'll just eat it like right after the gym or right before. And it's a great, easy breakfast that won't give you a sugar crash in the middle of the morning. So after the chia seed pudding, I started on my Cashew Ranch. Guys, this ranch recipe is so good. Everyone that has it loves it, and the base is cashew, so of course you need soaked cashews. So you can either soak your cashews overnight or you can put them in boiling water for 10 minutes. So I opted for this option and I just soaked them in boiling water for 10 minutes, drained them and added them to my high-speed blender along with the rest of the ingredients. So we have water, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and Dijon mustard. I blend that all together, and once it's blended, I add in the last few ingredients. So the key to this recipe really is fresh herbs. Now, I understand that fresh herbs can be kind of expensive for some people, or you just don't want to buy them. You already have dry herbs on hand, so by all means, do whatever works for you, but fresh herbs really elevate this recipe to a high-class ranch, if you know what I'm saying. So I love adding fresh dill and fresh parsley to my Cashew Ranch, so I added in some of that along with lots of freshly cracked pepper. To me, that really makes a ranch, lots of pepper. And the last thing that you can add is some almond milk or water to adjust the consistency to your liking. I like my ranch a little bit thin, not super, super thick. Then you can store it in a jar or Tupperware container and it will last in your fridge for up to a week. Now, I made a shit ton of this ranch, so I'm going to take half of it and freeze it and store the other half in the fridge, because if I stored it all in the fridge, some of it would definitely go bad because I just can't eat that much ranch in a week. So next up, I started cooking my cauliflower. Now, if you eat low carb at all, you're probably eating a lot of cruciferous vegetables. And cauliflower is one of those veggies that I eat all the time, along with broccoli and cabbage, because it's a low carb staple, especially if you're vegan. You're trying to get in as many low carb veggies as possible. So I made 2 different cauliflower recipes this day. I did a cauliflower mash, and then I also made cauliflower sushi rice. So I started by cutting up my 2 heads of cauliflower into florets, and I started making the cauliflower mash first. So I took half of the florets and I put them in a large pot with a steamer basket, and I steamed it for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes until they were tender. And while that was steaming, I took the other half of the florets and I put them in a food processor. I will leave the link to it down below if you want to check it out. This is a great one. I highly recommend. So you're gonna pulse the cauliflower until the kernels or the little pieces are the size of rice. You don't want to over pulse it, because then it'll just get too finely ground up and it'll be hard to roll and make into sushi, and it'll just be a weird texture, and you don't want that. And then you are going to take the cauliflower rice and heat up a large saute pan over medium-high heat. Add it in there and the cauliflower rice will start to shrink, and it'll take about like 3 to 4 minutes. So you're gonna stir it occasionally, saute it, and then you can add in the rest of the ingredients. So to add the rest of your ingredients, I like to make a hole in the middle of the pan, and I add in Bragg's liquid aminos, or you could use soy sauce, coconut aminos, vegan cream cheese, Kite Hill is my favorite brand to use. You can also use Tofu, and a smidge of sesame oil. Then you're gonna mix that together in the middle of the pan, and once it's all melty and mixed through, you can mix it with the rest of the rice that's in the pan. And while the cauliflower rice is cooking, you might need to add a couple tablespoons of water so the rice doesn't get too brown, too dried out, because you want it to be a little bit moist but not too moist. It's a nice little balance that you're going for. So once your sushi rice is ready to go, it's mixed through, you can taste it, see if it needs salt, some more soy sauce, kind of feel it out, and then you can add it to a Tupperware container, and I just store that in my fridge, and whenever I'm ready to make low carb sushi, I just take my sushi wrapper, the nori, and then I pile on some of the cauliflower rice, and then I'll add in my desired fillings. I like doing avocado and cucumber, and then I pair it with a spicy mayo, which is just sriracha and vegan mayo, veganese. The amount of cauliflower sushi rice I made will probably make like 4 or 5 sushi rolls. So it makes a lot of sushi rolls, and I will probably have like 1 to 2 for a meal. So back to the cauliflower mash. Your florets should be tender and steamed and ready to go. So you want to take them while they're still hot, put them in the food processor, and add in the rest of your ingredients. So you're gonna need vegan butter, nutritional yeast, garlic powder, almond milk, and vegan cream cheese or sour cream. You could also add in some of the Cashew Ranch that you just made too. That would make a nice creamy consistency. And then you're gonna blend it until it's really silky and smooth. And then you can taste it, add some salt, add some more nutritional yeast if you want, add some garlic powder, and your cauliflower mash is ready to go. So next up, I started making my tempeh steaks. These are so good. It's probably my favorite way to eat tempeh. And if you don't like tempeh, it's probably because you've had tempeh that hasn't been steamed. So life hack for you, to take the bitterness out of tempeh, you have to steam it before you marinate and cook it. So what I do is I take my package of tempeh, I open it up, I cut it into 4 squares that are kind of thin, and then I put them in a steamer basket, I steam it for 10 to 15 minutes, and then I marinate it. So while it's steaming, I make the marinade, which is balsamic vinegar, soy sauce or Bragg's, minced garlic, and lamb canto sweetener, which is my favorite low-carb maple syrup substitute. It's really, really good. I mix that together, and then when the tempeh is done steaming, I add it to the marinade, shake it up a little bit, and then store it in my fridge overnight. I mean, if you are kind of running low on time, you can do it for like 45 minutes or an hour, but ideally you would want to do it overnight so the tempeh can really suck in all of the flavor. So once you're ready to cook the tempeh, you can preheat your oven to 425 and then layer on your tempeh steaks to a parchment paper lined baking sheet and bake it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes, flipping halfway through. You can also pan fry it with a little bit of avocado oil just in a saute pan. That will also work. So next up, I started making my Tofu Scramble, which is the best tofu scramble on planet Earth. I'm just gonna say it, it's so good. So for this, you're going to dice up half an onion and you're gonna start sauteing that. After a few minutes, you can add in some minced garlic, and then you can crumble in your extra firm tofu, and you're gonna cook that for a few minutes until some of the liquid has evaporated and it starts to brown a bit. Then you're gonna add nutritional yeast, salt, turmeric, and pepper. Stir that and cook for another minute. Add a little bit of almond milk, and then a few handfuls of fresh spinach. And once the spinach is wilted, you can remove the pan from the heat and squeeze on a little bit of fresh lemon juice. This is the secret ingredient to really, really good tofu scramble. This makes a really quick and easy breakfast because in the morning you can just like scoop some on a plate, microwave it, add some avocado, maybe some ketchup, maybe some other veggies, and you're good to go. So next I'm gonna roast some broccoli. I love meal prepping with just roasting a giant tray of veggies because they are easy to just grab from the fridge and toss on any plate that you've made for yourself, and it's a great way to get your veggies in. So I cut my broccoli into florets. And yes, I do use the broccoli stem, so if you want to use that too and not waste it, you can cut off the very bottom of the stem because that's the really tough part, that's hard to eat. And then you can peel it and then just dice it up like you would a carrot or any other vegetable. So once your broccoli is ready to go, you can put it on a parchment paper lined baking sheet, add some avocado oil along with salt and pepper, give that a toss, and then you're gonna put it in the oven at 425 for 25 minutes and flip it halfway through. And this is such a good way to eat broccoli because it gets really crispy on the outside, so it kind of tastes like broccoli chips, and then with a little bit of oil and salt, it's so good. So like I said earlier, the full recipes and measurements will be in my ebook, Prep Like a Chef. So if you want to check that out, the link to that will be down in the description box. And there is some higher carb stuff in there too. This book is really just like a meal prep guide with 30 plus plant-based recipes that are kind of just recipes that I make and eat a lot that are really good for meal prep. I plan on doing a low carb ebook, like exclusively low carb. So if you're into that, let me know in the comments below if that is something that you would be interested in. Thank you guys so much for watching this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment down below, subscribe, let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you want more low carb meal prep videos like this. And don't forget to take care of yourself this week, eat good food, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Diet Coke ain't good for the soul. Give me that orange soda. Give me a grape like you see in the movies. Bubble to the top like a smoothie, you'll see. I'll do you like a 9 to 5. Wake